Welcome to ACD Combatives, your combatives and control tactics channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hey guys, Coach Kurt here. So as promised, I'll be going back to some more normal videos here. Starting tomorrow, I start training with my trainee Aiken again. My duties as an FTO are over. My trainee who's leaving phase 2 and going on to phase 3. And so I can start training regularly and shooting videos, and I'll have time to edit videos again for techniques. I have another trainee coming in March. And then 4 more weeks of that, I believe that training is going to be in phase 3. But that's neither here or there. So I did this video because of some conversations I've had with trainees in general. A lot younger generation entering police work as it should be. The old guard eventually phases out and the new guard comes in. I can tell you a little bit about what it's like to be in law enforcement today, but you got to remember I'm a rural officer. And even though I've had a lot of different experiences, I started in the military as an MP. First 5 years was in corrections. I worked for a county. I've worked for state agencies. For federal agencies. I've been all over the board. And for the last 12, 13 years, I've been with my current agency where it's mostly rural law enforcement. And I really liked it. And I went into it with the concept of wanting to be a rural cop and doing game warden work, and that kind of stuff excited me, but we'll get into more of that. So, you want to be in law enforcement, I highly recommend either the military or an education. You can get into law enforcement without education or military, but it's been my experience that agencies like to see some kind of life experience right now. 21 with a gun can be a little nerve-wracking for some agencies because people don't have life experience. So go off to college, get a degree, and I recommend you get a degree in something other than police work. I got only about a year of college under my belt, but it was all in criminal justice, and it was useless. The agencies will teach you everything you need to know about being a cop. I recommend you get a degree in something completely different. It doesn't matter. Maybe accounting. Something different, gives you diversity, gives you experience other than just law enforcement. Again, you will go to academy for 18 to 25 weeks, depending on what jurisdiction you're in. You'll have field training for 12 to 18 weeks, again, depending on what jurisdiction you're in. And you'll get continuing education throughout your career. And then just being on the job will give you all the experience you need in law enforcement. So I do see a difference between military veterans and college students. Military veterans, right, wrong, or indifferent. You can say I'm prejudiced because I was in the military. But generally speaking, my recruits that came from the military seemed pretty well adapted to go into police work. They show up to work 15 minutes early. 15 minutes early is on time. They take good criticism well. They follow orders well. And I really like that as an FTO. I've had some great, super intelligent college students that had multiple degrees and spoke multiple languages and way smarter than me, but they had no common sense. And that is dangerous in law enforcement. Law enforcement today, you're wearing multiple hats. You're going to be a social worker, a marriage counselor. There's all these little things you're going to be doing that, believe it or not, doesn't have anything to do with putting handcuffs on people and taking people to jail. With any luck, you'll go your entire career with having to pull your gun. I'm sure you're going to have to put your hands on people. So, as a control tactics instructor, I have a big emphasis on learning mixed martial arts or jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai or something like that, because your agency isn't going to give you more training than you need. You're going to have to find that on your own. It's very unfortunate, but true. So I recommend that during your law enforcement career, you find some extremely interesting hobbies that are different than straight up police work. Now, my hobby is martial arts, and that happens to coincide very handily with being in law enforcement because it helps quite a bit. Not to say that your de-escalation skills and verbal judo skills aren't just as important in control tactics. And matter of fact, in my mind, they're one and the same. Your use of force starts externally with good de-escalation skills, and that's not force, but it's a great marriage with when eventually you may have to go hands-on, and then you're going to have the skills and the mindset and the confidence to do it correctly. High confidence usually crosses over to really good control tactic skills. So the kind of police work choices you have. Big city, it's been my experience, not personally, but talking to friends and so forth that did go the big city route. You can be 20 calls deep. You're way more active, but you're also playing catch up quite a bit. In rural law enforcement, you can quite often be more proactive, turning over rocks, looking for things. You're not as busy, but when you do get in things, you definitely have more time to play cop and investigate and be a snoopy, nosy person, because that's what investigations are, being snoopy and nosy, turning over rocks and finding things. The downside is when you're out in the rural environment, you're by yourself. Backup can be an hour, 2 hours away, or non-existent. And you better have good common sense and be able to think outside the box. You won't have any direct supervision very often in rural law enforcement because you're out there by yourself. In a city environment, you get some good training, and you also have a shift supervisor that's maybe 5 minutes away from you. You got backup that's 5 minutes away from you. And so it's give and take when you're doing the different types of law enforcement. So choose wisely, find something that fits you. One's not better than the other. There is something that's better for you. So don't let anybody talk you into something you're not interested in. Find some kind of state, local, federal, whatever floats your boat. Find something you think you're interested in and go that route. Now, going that route, back in the day when I got into law enforcement, thousands of people would put in for a position, and you were lucky to get something. It's a lot easier now getting into law enforcement, but it's a higher turnover rate than back in the day. Make sure this is the career choice you're interested in. Guys, I assure you, it's a lot of hurry up and wait. It's a lot of boredom. It's a lot of complete terror because you're always in condition yellow. You are always on edge, and PTSD is strong in this career path. Doesn't mean that it's going to be a downer in that you are affected by it negatively, as long as you are willing to admit that you're a human being and you have issues. You need to take care of those issues. It is getting better in the law enforcement community. PTSD and anxiety issues it's okay to address those things now. For me, when I was younger in law enforcement, it was a no-go. You never wanted to admit that kind of stuff because the culture wasn't a proactive culture for that. Things are beginning to change. They definitely need to continue to change because they're still not perfect, but things are definitely getting better. And I guess I'll wrap this up regardless of what you're going to do in law enforcement, what agency you want to be, state, local, federal, whatever. There are so many different facets and different types of agencies. I'm not even going to get into it because you can do your own research. Make sure it's truly what you want to do because it's going to be frustrating. The most important tool is it used to be the pen, now it's the keyboard. You're going to be doing a lot of writing. It's not nearly as glorious as you think. And things are getting pretty ugly out there as far as agency support. You have people who say, I support law enforcement, and these are the same people that storm the Capitol because they truly don't like authority. Or I'll have somebody giving me the thumbs up 1 minute, literally in the same day, within an hour, somebody flipping me off, cussing me out their window, I hate the cops, fuck you. And then, the next car that drives by is going to be thumbs up, hey, we love you. If that doesn't weird you out by the end of the day after day, day after day, day after day for 20 years, I don't know what will. And it's definitely getting worse. So that goes back to having good family support and having some kind of life away from the job. Friends that are not cops. Being independent from your job. Your identity is not your badge. Your identity is who you are. And you got to enter law enforcement with that attitude. And it's going to be harder than some jobs. If you're looking for praise, find a different career path. If you are an independent thinker, can think outside of the box, and you want to help people, but you're not going to get any credit for doing it, police work may be for you. It pays decent. There are jobs out there that pay better, and there's jobs that pay way worse. At the end of the day, you've got to find a good reason other than the money. I assure you that you're not gonna like win the lottery with this job. You're not gonna be like just being able to buy whatever you want. You've got to still be intelligent with your money and save for a good retirement. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. So the next video should be technique driven. Again, I'm sorry for breaking away from those, but when I got a trainee, I focus pretty much on that. All right, everybody, take care, stay safe, and like, subscribe, and share.
Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out.